Have you guys ever struggled with the amount of information out there? Have you struggled to consume the amount of information out there in the world? I wanted guys to share an automation that helps me tremendously to keep up to date with the latest, whether it's cybersecurity news, whether it's latest AI, especially news. I guess AI world is evolving and changing so fast. So I built an automation that allows us to consume a great deal of information and keep up to date with what's happening with the world, with the latest articles. And it's a great way to get the key facts out of specific articles and just get them stored somewhere in a file. You can again, the goal here, guys, is I'm building a framework, or I'm building a sort of a skeleton of an automation, and then you can take it further and adapt to your needs and build upon it however guys you want to. I'm just starting it out. So what we're going to do in this automation is we set up there is a tool called Rss App. So that's where we monitor the RSS feeds. So in this scenario, we're going to use niche AI. So essentially any articles within AI. What we're going to do is we're going to push that into HTTP, and basically what we're doing, we're downloading an article as a file, and then we're going to parse, basically essentially take an HTML file, parse the text from it, and push it to Perplexity, which is a great tool. It's a Perplexity AI tool essentially, which allows us to extract the key information, summarize the article in as many words as we want to, and just get basically key facts from the article, summary of the article, and any statistics or any very important information. We're going to aggregate it, because the key point for me is here as well. So you can do it as often or as frequently how you're going to do it. We're going to run the automation every 24 hours. So let's say we run first thing in the morning. So we're going to look at the last 24 hours of articles. And the why we're using here text aggregator, what I want is, I don't want to have, say, there's 10 articles. I don't want to have 10 files. We're going to aggregate all of the text from 10 automations and essentially put it in one Google Drive file, which then is going to be essentially stored in my Google Drive. So what we're going to do is we take the text from each automation, aggregate it, and put it into a file. So hopefully you guys, you can follow along with me and learn how to do this automation, how to adapt this automation, and how essentially get the best out of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to essentially, let's create a new scenario from scratch, and that's how we're going to do it. So what I'm going to do is build this with you. Hopefully you guys, you can follow along and build it one for yourself. So I'm going to start with RSS, and then basically what we're going to do is we're going to watch RSS feeds. So all we need to set up in here is we need a URL from our RSS feeds, and then we need to set up of how many number of return articles we want to get over our automation. So this, the important point here to notice, guys, is the number of articles. It will depend of how often do you want to run this automation. If you're running a number of times a day, and then obviously you're going to get less amount of articles, so you don't need to expand it as much. In this example, let's say I'll just do 5 for now. So we're gonna return 5 article summaries. We're gonna share and extract from my RSS app. I'm just gonna copy the URL, which we're gonna paste it in here. And that's pretty much it. So that's the first step. It's obviously going to ask, where do you want to start? Once we build this in our sort of production scenario, we're going to select from now on. But because we're going to run and test this automation, we're going to do basically, let's start from specific date. So we're going to pick, say, all the articles from yesterday, 4 o'clock until now. So the next step is to build an HTTP module. So we're going to do HTTP and get a file module. And then all we need to do is essentially extract a URL of the article. So what we're going to do is we're just going to click on that URL. Simple as that. We're going to just put a URL. Now the next module is we're going to need to add a text parser. So we're going to select a text parser, and then we're going to do HTML to text. So we're going to drop that here. And then what we need to do is we just need to select essentially here, we need to get the data. And that's pretty much it. We're just getting the data, we're selecting how we're going to do the line breaks, and that's pretty much it. Obviously this is an error because obviously we're not going to end it here. So next one, and the most important one, is we're going to add our Perplexity module. I told you guys about these before. So you have modules like Perplexity, you have Anthropic Claude, you have ChatGPT. All of these are great AI models. I use specific models for specific use cases. So we're using Perplexity because I think Perplexity is the new tool that's going to replace things like, you know, Google search. So it's an amazing tool that has access to internet and allows to do you know, further research into our articles, gather the best summary statistics about those specific articles. I guess in this scenario we not necessarily need internet access, but I think it helps because we can provide extra context around the specific articles. So we're gonna add a Perplexity AI, and we're gonna, the key point again now with these guys, some of the first three tools, obviously they were pretty easy. RSS, obviously the one I shared the URL, you can use rss.app and select specific niches that you want to get articles to. You can use a free version, I think for 14 days, and then onwards of that, I think it's $9 a month, which is it's a reasonable amount of cost if you are following specific niches or specific, you know, topics that you want to get on top of it. Again, you can also find the various other RSS feeds that you can potentially build for free. I'm currently using this app. Now, secondly, again, now Perplexity, the way it's set up, you need to again connect the API in Perplexity. You'll need to load your account before you can use this automation. So the way it works is you can drop in again. It's probably something like $10, £10, whatever the currency you are guys using, but it's very low cost. Normally, every single, you know, automation or chat completion costs just a few cents. So normally, you know, something like $10 will last you probably over a month or more than that, because obviously it depends on the usage, how many times you guys are going to run it. But you know, dropping something like $10, it's going to last you forever. So the key point again here is we need to select a model that has access to online. So again, you can see guys, we have a small model, we have a huge models now, we have a large model. So we're just going to use a large model. We're going to use tokens, 4,000 tokens, and then we're going to need to add a message, which is going to be, so we're going to use a role of a user. And then guys, I'm going to bring you and showcase the prompt that I'm currently using for this. So what we're going to do is, let me just bring up Notepad. So this is the prompt that I'm going to use for this. Let me just zoom in guys so you can, I guess, see better. So the task is, for this prompt, is you need to act as an expert in information extraction to analyze and summarize provided articles. Produce concise summary of the article, maximum 50 words, that captures the most important bullet points, allowing readers to grasp the context without reading the full text. Ensure all facts are checked and quotes or statistics are properly referenced. So I guess that's where, you know, things like access to internet becomes crucial. You know, I'm not going to read all of the prompts, guys. Whenever you want, you know, just pause it, guys. Copy the text or you know, change it how you want it, your information to be summarized. But this is, I guess, just a sort of essentially a blueprint of how this information can be used and summarized. What we did is we obviously gave a couple of tasks. We created essentially a format how we want it. So we want a main thesis, we want supporting points, significant data or statistics. We also want implications or conclusions from the articles. The goal is basically to readers to provide a quick and accurate understanding of the article's core content, supported by properly referenced key points and data. Strive to deliver a summary that is informative, balanced, and allows readers to grasp the article's main ideas efficiently. And then, as I say, for output, we use article title, article summary, article key points. And then what I did is as well, I added one of the examples here. So, for example, how does the article summary look like? I made sure as well to put some of the points like, make sure do not include any waffling or any extra text that does not add any value, like here is the article summary. We don't need that. The whole output text should not exceed 150 words. So when I keep it succinct and to the point, sometimes, these models like to exaggerate and talk and add extra fluff, which we don't need. So that's essentially the key goal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy all of this, and then essentially we're going to put it into content here. The only thing we need to do, guys, now is you saw there was a few points where it was mentioned text. So what I need to do is I just need to make sure that we need to replace this with this. So make sure it's the same numbers and everything. So I just want to make sure that it's the correct text that we added here. So essentially, basically this, what it is in this prompt we say the article will be shared here. So we just drop an article from the text parser into this prompt, and essentially it allows us to use this prompt how we're going to summarize this whole article. And next the step was what we're going to do is, and I think the important point is, as I say to you guys, you can take it, and change it and interpret this automation the way you want. What I want to do is in this automation was I wanted to add an aggregator that allows us essentially, say we're running 5 article summaries. I don't want to create 5 files in my essentially in my Google Drive. Instead, I want to aggregate all of the text, and only once the 5 are created, put that into one file. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a text aggregator tool here. So what we're going to do is we go tools, and we're adding a text aggregator here. And then what we're going to do is, so we need to just making sure we configure this correctly. Now the key point here, guys, is you need to understand that the way text aggregator works is we need to find the source model. So the source model is going to be where we're starting to get the 5 feeds. So the source model should be the very first one. And you can see once I click that, it creates this gray line. So that means it's going to aggregate on these 5 modules and going to collect all of the 5 automations. And only then, once these 5 are complete, then we're going to create a connection into Google Drive. So what we need to do here, we need to obviously drop a text. So the text is going to be from choices, message, content. So that's all the text that we're going to aggregate. Obviously, yeah, we're not going to finish on the transformer. And then the last bit, now we're going to add a Google Drive. So the way as I said before, guys, you can do however you want. I'm going to do Google Drive, and we're going to create a file from text. So again, you just need to connect your Google Drive. My connection is already here, so I'm going to select, I have a number of folders, and I'm going to put AI research articles. So, and then you just need to create a file name. So I'm going to call it a file.txt. And then the contents of it is going to be a text from the text aggregator. And then what I want to do is also I'm going to click yes to convert the file to the Google Docs format, because it's much easier to read and view the files. And there we go. And that's pretty much automation set up. And then this essentially becomes your sort of personal research and assistant agent that allows you to consume amount of information and all of the articles about specified niche that you want to keep on top of it. I think this is even can be used, sort of a threat intelligence tool, a tool that allows you to essentially summarize the key information and extract it into much easier consumable way and do whatever you want to it. But I guess to me, as I said earlier, AI world is changing so much. We're having so much information, so much, key information that's out there, and it's hard to keep on top of it. And I think, I always say the technology sort of fields and technology career, it's very easy to get left behind. So hopefully this is a little tool in your arsenal that allows you to get and keep on top of it. So let's save it and let's try and run an automation and then see how we're going to do. So we got 5. We chose where to start the module. So we're going to start the module from yesterday, and let's run this automation and then see. So as you can see, guys, it's iterating and it's going to iterate and run. So whenever you get a number 1, that also means obviously the first task is already completed. So now it's running for our chat completion through Perplexity. So as you can see, as soon as the first one completed in Perplexity, we got the number 2 and number 3 now on text parser. So they are iterating until we get to number 5. And then the tool is essentially going to aggregate all of the text, and then they're going to output the text into our file, essentially into our Google Drive. So we're just going to cover all of it. So we're going up to 5. Once it completes, we're going to have a look at the output and see how the summary looks like. Does it follow the format? Is it easy to understand? And then again, once we finish this, it's up to you guys how you're going to want to iterate, how you're going to improve it. But there we go. So we've done 5 outputs here, and you can see then it aggregated into one output here, and now it's creating a file in our Google Drive, and now it's created. So if I go here, as you can see, there we go. There's the file which just been added into my Google Drive. So if I double click, there we go. There we have our article title. So we have, you can see, first article title, we have a summary, we have key points of the article, then we have another article title. We just obviously probably need to have a think about how we can extract and probably split. So we have another title, so article number 2, we got again summary, key points, we have stuff like implications, conclusions. Then we have another article here about Krause Center for Innovation launches Silicon Valley Artificial Intelligence project. Again, we got summary, we got key points from the article, implications and things like that. And then we got article number 4, and then we should have where is last but not least, we got article number 5 about what is information extraction onto text fundamentals. And then we got another article assessing the quality of information extraction. So I think it's just a really cool way to look at some of these articles and extract summary. So as you can see, if we read one of these, so this article introduces a framework to assess the quality and completeness of information extraction using large language models. It proposes an iterative extraction process and a novel score Minia for evaluation. So the key point is you can assess the quality of IE is crucial, especially without labeled data sets. The framework uses artificially generated complex information to test LLMs. So again, you can also find the articles if you want to extract and look at it and get the full information. But I think, having the key facts at your fingertips and just there for you to use, it's amazing. And as I said, now how you set it up in your usage is up to you guys. But as I say, the key point is obviously we just ran manually. What you can do is you can decide whether you want at regular intervals to run. You can do advanced scheduling, but the key point is for me, probably what I would want to do is I would run it every day at, say, first thing in the morning. So we run, say, at 8 o'clock in the morning, because once I wake up and go to the computer, I maybe first half an hour spend reading articles from yesterday's last 24 hours about AI news, about AI discoveries, about things that change in the AI world. And that's how we can run this automation. We just set up a daily automation, run at 8 a.m, schedule it on, and every morning you go to your Google Drive, you'll find the file there with all of the articles from the last 24 hours for you to read and consume and stay up to date with this information. As always, guys, hope you found it useful. Give me any comments, any feedback, anything else you guys want to see in the near future in our automation videos. Let me know. But for now, thank you, guys.